What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Eman the Chosen here, and I'm back today with another video. So today I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm running for my Stamsorc this patch. I've been running the same build for a while now, even on Xbox, but I have made a few tweaks to the build. That way I'm able to push out a little bit more damage now that I'm at higher CP. Now I will go ahead and tell you all, disclaimer, this is not a beginner friendly build. We run extremely low recovery, but if played correctly, this is one of the strongest cheese-free builds that you can use for Stamsorc, especially a D-Swing Stamsorc. If you all like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, but without further ado, let's get straight into it. So starting with the attributes, we have 10 points in the health, 54 points in the stam. Our health does climb higher than this once our sets are fully procced, but 30k health is a good starting point. You can easily stack health a little bit higher, but then you'll start losing damage. So as far as the food we do run the Bewitched Sugar Skulls. I found that to be the best food for Stamsorc because it allows me to push my max stats as high as I can. They don't really need a lot of recovery on this build, so I went with the one that gave me the most stats. As far as our Mundus, we are running the Apprentice. I found the Apprentice to be the best Mundus. Now if you want to push a little bit more damage, you can easily put the Lover on, but I run the Apprentice just because not only does it affect my damage, but it also affects my heals, which Lover doesn't really do that. So, and of course, just like any other build going around in PvP right now, we are a stage 3 vampire just for that undeath passive. This also stacks very nicely with the sets that we run for the mitigation as well. Makes us very tanky when we get low. But yeah, so getting into the slottables, again, we are running the Bewitched Sugar Skulls. Now you could easily drop this food and run like food like Smoked Bear Hunch or Jewels of Mistral to have a little bit more recovery. But Stamsorc is very unique. You don't really need a lot of recovery because you have skills like Dark Deal that's gonna, cover your recovery for you. So that's why I went with that food to help push the most damage I can. Now I do also run the stage 4 and reduced stage foods. So I switch a lot of times. I'll switch stages in the middle of fights. So with the stage 4, when you sprint, it doesn't cost anything, and also after 3 seconds you actually go invisible. So a lot of times, this is a get out of jail card. When you're getting sweated down really hard or you're getting zerged down, there's like 20 guys on you. Sometimes you can switch to stage 4 and just reset a fight. I also keep the reduced stage foods on me just in case I need to switch stages back down to stage 3. But yeah, as far as our pots that we use, we do primarily use the tri-stat pots. I find that to be the best pots for Stamsorc. I also use immovable stealth detect pots. Those are a must. They don't have to be immovable, but stealth detect pots are so important because there's going to be a lot of night blades on you, a lot of gankers, stuff like that, and pretty much this is their kryptonite. Once you use this, all you gotta do is I normally just chase them around, and they can't do anything because they can't go cloak. It's really funny seeing the night blades. They try to gank you, then run, and then they can't go back and cloak. They're like, oh, because you got the stealth tech pot on them. But yeah. All right, getting into the sets. On our front bar, we are running the Battershrand's Perfected Bar. We're running Sharpened Trait, and we're running a Berserker Enchant. Now you can easily run this, you don't have to have the perfected version. You can easily run this with the normal version. You get it from the Battershrand Hollows, but in the game of min-maxing, every little bonus helps, so I did get the perfected. Then our back bar, we are using Essence Thief. This is one of the best sets for Stamsorc, especially for this type of build that we already run a super low recovery. When I use a light attack, it drops a green pool. And pretty much it does so much for you. It restores your stam, gives you health, and it also gives you 10% damage done. It's not the highest damage, but it's really good flat damage that's really underrated, and it's a super great set for Stamsorc. As far as our back bar trait, I did go with defending. I am liking defending over powered right now because honestly right now burst is so high, especially with all these gank blades and stuff like that. So I'd rather stop the incoming burst, not have the incoming burst be as high, than rather try to out heal it, because Stamsorc is already very squishy, and I think we need more defense more than just straight up healing. All right, so as far as the body pieces, we are running Mark of Pariah. I honestly feel like Pariah is probably one of the best sets for Stamsorc. Stamsorc's main problem is that we're squishy, and Pariah it pretty much helps fix that problem that we have of being squishy. So that's why I like Pariah. We're just running a one-piece magma for the extra recovery, and then the rest of the body pieces are essence thief. So with this setup, we do run 4 heavy, 3 medium. Also, in order to maximize the armor you get out of heavy, make sure your big pieces are heavy. So like your head, your chest, your legs. I'm also running my shoulders heavy because that's also giving me a lot of armor. And as far as the traits, I do run a reinforced chest and reinforced legs. But for the most part, everything else is in-pin with exception of a few things being divines. I do try to push a little bit higher damage with the exception of, not being as tanky, because I'm very experienced on this build, so you can do that. You can run a few pieces of divines. But as far as the one piece, now you could easily put a one piece trainee, but I found the one piece recovery for this specific build, because our recovery is so low, the one piece recovery with magma has been the best in slot so far. So as far as our jewelry, we are running the Pariah jewelry. I am running it with all weapon damage glyphs with stam recovery. I found that to be the best setup. As far as our traits, we are running 1 infused, 1 bloodthirsty, and 1 swift. Now you could drop bloodthirsty and put on some more infused if you want a little bit more heals, but bloodthirsty I found is the best damage. But you just kind of have to find your in between, because infuse also gives you extra recovery. It's not a lot, but infuse gives you extra recovery. So sometimes I do run this with more infused, but bloodthirsty is the hardest hitting. So like I said, I always try to push the most damage on this build. So yeah. As far as our mythic, we are running the depth of his feet. I found the depth of his feet to be the best mythic for this specific setup, just because we already had the max resistances with Pariah, and we pretty much get to over the top resistances with Pariah, especially when our health gets low. So you don't really need a mythic like Markin, because it doesn't hit as hard as Depth of His Feet is max stats. And not only does it hit harder than Markin, but it also helps our sustain, because we get max health, you're getting max dam, you're getting max mag. And it's also going to help our survivability, and you're going to have huge resource pools to use from. So now we're going to get into the skills. The first skill we have on here is Hurricane. Hurricane is a staple skill in this class. It's your armor buff. It's going to give you the minor expedition, and it also does decent damage. So this is pretty much like a staple skill. This skill easily gets up to 3 to 4k every 2 seconds on a build like this. So it's very, very good pressure on top of the damage you're going to do. The next skill we have is Executioner. This is our execute. Only use it when they're below 50% health. This thing hits like a truck, and it can also desync kids. Like, it's crazy how much this skill desyncs people. We also have Rally on here. Rally is our burst heal. Pretty much it also gives you the extra stam recovery. Now this isn't the skill that you want to spam. You want to use this skill like once you had it up for a few seconds. Normally I'll rotate this skill between Vigor, Dark Deal, and then this skill. I'll just keep rotating these skills. That way you can give it a few seconds for this skill to hit a bit harder, with the heal, with the burst heal. So the next skill we have on here is D-Swing. D-Swing is my primary spammable. Pretty much when I use this skill, the tooltip right now, especially with Dark Deal up, it does get pretty high. 12k, then it gets up to 15 to 16k with all my sets proc, and once I collect Essence Thief. So definitely one of the hardest hitting skills. Then I'm running Crystal Frags. This is one of my main damage skills as well. You can run the Stam Morph of this, but I honestly like the Mag Morph a lot better, because it's more bursty with this setup, and it hits harder than the Stam skill. Only thing is RNG when it procs, but when it does proc, man, does it hit like a truck. Like, I've hit 15 20k frags on kids. Like, it's insane how hard this skill hits, especially with the off balance and stuff like that. And when you use it, now sometimes I do hard cast this skill, but for the most part you do want to use it when it's glowing like purple. That way it hits harder. It pretty much costs nothing. Then also, of course, for our ulti, we're running the famous Bonk skill. If you guys watch my streams, you know, when I hit kids with a bonk, I'm referring to this skill, Berserker Rage. And I'm using the morph that actually gives me the CC immunity. You can use the morph that gives you the like pin and stuff like that. But this is the more underrated morph because this morph pretty much gives you armor, and you also can't be CC'd while using this skill. But also too, you know, this skill catches a lot of people off guard, especially like, you know, CC reliant, you know, fights, stuff like that. Some people people streak you, they try to root you with their DK, they try to javelin you, and they're wondering like, oh man, they can't CC you. And they think I'm using move pots, but it's actually just this skill right here. Especially, you can also stack this with an move pot, or you can stack this with move poisons, and pretty much never be CC'd. It's very, very underrated skill, and I really like it. And it also allows me to finish off a lot of my kills. Sometimes, especially playing a D-swing setup, you get CC'd like really heavy, and you know, you can't finish off your kills. But with this skill, it allows me to play more aggressive and, you know, stay offensive to actually finish off my kills. And for that reason, I really like this skill more than any other ult. So, okay, getting into our back bar skills. So, a back bar ult, we are running the Temporal Guard. I feel like this is the best ult for Stamsorc, or best back bar ult, because you get that minor protection on the back bar. Then you also get that recall if you need it. I've juked a lot of people with this. A lot of times you can use this on an elevated platform or like a rock, and you can jump off the rock. And I've had Zergs like follow me off the rock, and then I'll really just, you know, teleport back up with this skill. It's really funny, you know. But yeah, I do like this skill. You could run HO here, or, you know, any other skill, but I feel like this skill is a must on the back bar. But yeah, next skill we have here is Dark Deal. This is one of the most powerful skills on Stamsorc. This pretty much gives us our resource sustain, and it's also a heal as well. Also, when you use it, you do get the minor force and minor berserk, so it's going to make all your other skills hit harder. Our next skill we have is Revealing Flare. So this is the skill that I actually do stack with Pariah, giving us major protection. Not only that, when you have it slotted, you also get, you know, 10% mag recuv. So it's a really, really nice passive. Not only that, we're stacking this with Pariah, and we're also stacking this with stage 3 vamp. So when we get low health, like, we're extremely tanky, and a lot of times this allows me to survive a lot of the cheese in the game, stuff like that. It allows me to survive like a lot of outnumbered fights and stuff like that. So the next skill we have on here is Vigor. This is pretty much a must on every class. This is our heal over time, and it's also a minor resistance buff. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what my stats are on my back bar when I have Hurricane and Vigor up. So it gets pretty good, up to 35k. This is without Pariah proc as well. This is 35k on my back bar. Then if you go to my front bar, I'm around 32 with Vigor going up. So really, really nice armor buff. Makes you, you know, extra tanky as well. The next skill I have here is Ball Lightning. This is one of the most broken skills on Stamsorc. Now I do use the Ball Lightning morph. I don't use the Streak morph. I like this morph better because it's better for mobility, because I use this as a more defensive morph. This is the one that it removes snares, and it also absorbs at least one projectile. This skill here is like the ultimate get out of jail card. Like, pretty much you can pretty much enter and exit almost any fight you want to. So this skill right here is one of the best skills in the game as far as like getting in and out of fights. Also, it's really nice for just kiting, stuff like that, kiting Zerg, kiting, you know, stuff like that. So really, really nice skill when it works correctly, of course. Now, you don't want to spam this skill too many times. Maybe use it like once or twice, roll dodge, run, wait a few seconds, then use it a few times, because if you do use it too many times, it does eat up all your magicka. But if used correctly, you can get out of pretty much any fight. So the next skill that I use is Elisus. This is our debuff. One of the most powerful skills in the game. A lot of classes are using this skill. This is the one that gives you the major breach. It also gives you like 3 status effects, burning shield and concussion status effects. So pretty much, you know, you put this skill on somebody, they're taking it's like free damage. So this skill is like too good not to run it. Now if you used to run a sorting board in this skill, you could easily run like puncture or, you know, pierce armor or something like that. But this skill, if you're getting so many stats effects, and it's just like free damage and free pin, so it doesn't cost anything. So all right, now getting into the CP. I'm starting with my blue CP. This is what we're running. So with this setup is very unique. With Pariah, you know, you're able to run a few more damage CP. So I do run 3 damage CP and 1 defensive CP. So as far as the damage CP, I do use Exploiter, Mastered Arms, Deadly Aim. Those are the 3 best damage CP for this specific build. If you're feeling squishy running the 3 damage CP and only 1 defensive CP, you could drop Exploiter and go with a skill like a CP like Focus Mending, or you could use like Duelist Rebuff if you're getting ganked or if you're getting hit too hard, because you still get hit pretty hard with this setup. Even with Pariah, like people still can hit you with 20k bows and, you know, gank you and stuff like that. As far as our red CP, we're running Celerity, Pain's Refuge, Sustained by Suffering, and Fortified. Celerity and Pain's Refuge are a must for Stamsorc. I mean, Celerity is pretty much the best CP in the game. You gotta have movement speed, and Pain's Refuge, you're always gonna have status effects on you, so you definitely need that for the mitigation. I do use Sustained by Suffering. Now, Sustained by Suffering is a flex spot. Now, with this setup, you only really need 1 Sustained TP. You could drop, now if you're more like a roll dodge or stuff like that, you could drop Sustained by Suffering, go with Survival Instincts and stuff like that. And I do have Fortified. Now, Fortified is very controversial, but I do like Fortified just because we don't have to run Relentlessness, which is the CP that you get major protection off of being CC'd, because we have major protection on our back bar with the flare. So that's kind of why I like the flare on my back bar, because it allows me to run, you know, a little bit more better defensive CP. And then as far as the skills and passes, make sure you get your on death passive, get your 30% reduced damage when you get low health. And I also do run the stage 4 passive, you know, so when I use, you know, when I do switch to stage 4, which I'll show you right now, switch stage 4, I shriek, you know, a few times. Let's say I'm getting zerged, and I, you know, sprint for a little bit, you know, Stam doesn't move, and I also go cloak after, you know, 3 seconds of running. So it's a really good get out of jail card. You know, that's why I like this state, you know, then you reduce your stage. But it's actually a new mechanic that I've been playing around with, but it's actually pretty cracked, like as far as like, you know, switching your stages like mid combat. Like it's actually pretty strong, you know, if used correctly. So another passive that I want to talk about that I definitely use is in the destruction stat passive. So I actually do use Trifocus, which is the one when you have an ice staff equipped, you actually use Magicka to block instead of Stam. So this is actually one of the strongest things you can do for specifically Stamsorc, because you can block with your mag and then restore Stam while you're blocking, and then vice versa. Let's say you're blocking with your Stam and you're restoring mag while you're blocking. So very, very strong. Also, when you learn how to tap block, it's very, very strong. You know, when you tap block with your mag, it really doesn't cost anything. So some more passes I want to make sure you get is the, you know, assault passes, of course, and support passes, you know, to make sure you get your 10% mag recov when you have your, you know, flare slotted. Very strong. As far as the race, I am at Orc. So if you guys watch my streams, I actually play with 2 different Stamsorcs. One is a Orc, one is Khajiit. This one is my Orc. So if you guys want my Khajiit build, I do run a similar setup, but there's a few different things. But that will only be for my channel members if you guys want that build. But as far as alchemy, make sure you get your medicinal use. Make sure, you know, your pots last longer. A lot of times, it's a 45-second cooldown, and it's really nice to have those pots last, or those, you know, extra effects last for longer, like the extra recovery you get. Also, when you use your stealth tech pots, like the reveal will last longer if you have the medicinal use. So yeah, make sure you have that. Yeah, I always keep my reduced stage do stage food only at all times, just in case I just want to switch, stages mid-combat. But as far as other passes, make sure you pick up like all your class passives. Now, the only class passes you don't really need with this specific build is all your Daedric summoning passes. Only 2 passes you really need are the the Power Stone passes, only because it reduces the ult cost. But we don't use pets in this build, and we don't use any Daedric summoning abilities at all, pretty much. So you don't need any of those skills, but you do need your other skills. So other than that, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. And now we're gonna get into some gameplay. All right.
Ain't sweet, ain't funny. Look, it's blue tints on my hundreds. Life been going how I want it. Life been lit just how I want it. Yeah. Now she talking like she want me. Yeah. Ay. Wave. Look, life been lit just how I want it.
I look like stressing, I be finessing. Dolo in my section, built like a blessing. I look like stressing, I be finessing. Got my muscle flexing, my money stretching.
Yeah, ain't sweet, ain't funny. Look, it's blue tints on my hundreds. Life been going how I want it.
Big bands like a main event, already paid the rent. Feeling like winning my favorite boy, I was made for this. Flex mode on gym rat, I been that young legend, oh. Them boys can't with it, I ain't shy, I'ma let them know. All of my bitches be multiples of 10, I'm fed to win, All of my be comfortable with sins from his to gin, Be hating because I've been ballin' and they gotta ride the bench again. Ain't gotta wonder, I know when she callin' that she tryna ride that again. Keep it a C note, guess it's D-League, they could be more. I brought the A game, gripping them B cups by the seashore. Filling up my rubber band, 100 band, I need that. Big dog, no small bark, I'm cool on your feedback.
Yeah, ain't sweet, ain't funny. Look, it's blue tints on my hundreds. Life been going how I want it.
I look like stressing, I be finessing. Dolo in my section, built like a blessing.
In that T,
I look like stressing.
Wave, life been going how I want it.
Got my muscle flexing.
Okay. Mahogany tint on the skin, I feel like a 10 out of 10. If you hearing it, got in the plan. If not, then somebody been watching the kid. I made it out of a jam. I got some ribbons in front of me blocking you, stuck watching life from the stands. I know that you sick, the drink got me thin, I won't fold under pressure. I'm young and I'm reckless, I'm all the way in it. You see that I'm more than expected. My mind is a treasure, I get it. Deposit come from overseas. My coin up, I'm the bag boy, yeah, I tote bread for the sound click. Pretty thing, quick to crack a smile for me, yeah, I gave it that joystick. Dab at the pin with no malice, before then I'm copping a mo with the palace. I'm out of the street, it's been legit. I used to be broke, I'm up a few chips, you can tell by the drip. Ain't nobody telling me, don't smile for the flick, you know what it is. Ain't sweet, ain't funny. Look, it's blue tints on my hundreds. Life been going how I want it. Life been lit just how I want it. Yeah. Now she talking like she want me. Yeah. Ay. Wave. Look, life been lit just how I want it.
I look like stressing. Dolo in my section. Got my money flexing. I look like stressing.
Life been going how I want it.
I look like stressing.
The power that we have within our bones. Sometimes that goes fear. People don't understand.
I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me. Ray gun on safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going, I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical. I'm out in Central America. I need a break from hysteria. Park like the one with the carousel. I get it lit in your area. I'm locked to the vision, it couldn't be clear. You couldn't pay me to care enough. I dare you to hate me supreme with the sound through the stereo. So turn it up loud when you hearing us. We live and it's good in your area.